Celadon ceramics have been made in Chiang Mai since the 13th century. It's thought that King Ming Rai of the Lan Na period brought the techniques from China. Casamar is just one among many companies still making the famous cracked glaze ceramics today. This factory and kiln on the outskirts of Chiang Mai combines traditional and modern technologies in its production processes. Both hand-turning and cast molding techniques are used to make Celadon, as well as other more modern glazed ceramics. Simple shapes are faster to hand-turn, and more complicated pieces are better and faster when cast. Beginning with a design on paper, a prototype is hand-made from clay. For casting, the original clay model is laboriously hand-carved in plaster and used to make a mold, also out of plaster. Multiple copies of the molds are made and used to produce the basic shapes of the ceramics. Molds might be made from 1 to 5 parts, depending on the size and complexity of the piece. All, however, have to be designed with inlets for pouring in the clay and water mixture used. The clay used has to be cleaned, sifted and passed over electromagnets to remove all impurities. Clay for both hand-turning and casting is first ground and mixed with water in a mixing machine. Clay for hand-turning is put through a kneading machine, a process which can take between 5 and 10 minutes. For casting, more water is added and the mixture is put into an agitator for 24 hours until its texture is perfectly consistent. The clay and water mixture is poured into the plaster molds. The molds are then left to dry for 2 to 3 hours as the plaster casting absorbs water from the clay and the mixture slowly thickens. The mixture may have to be poured in up to 3 times to get a sufficient thickness of the inner surface of the mold. Most pieces are designed to be hollow, and so the cast is finally tipped upside down to empty the clay mixture from the center. The molds are then opened and the clay pieces sent for hand finishing. So much water is absorbed by the plaster that the molds can only be used 5 times in one day, and then have to be left to dry overnight in a gas oven. The final part of the shaping process consists of smoothing down the visible surfaces and adding any detailed designs, such as teapot handles, hand paintings, engravings, or leaf designs. Both cast and hand-turned pieces are left to dry for 24 to 48 hours, depending on their size. Sunlight or drying machines can also be used to speed up the process. This simple plaster mold helps standardize the dimensions of a hand-turned piece. Here an 8-inch diameter bowl is being made. The shaping of one bowl takes only about 60 seconds. After the clay pieces are finished and sufficiently dry, They're stacked on shelves, ready to go into the kiln for bisque firing. Bisque firing is a low-temperature firing. The kilns heat up to around 800 degrees Celsius and the firing takes 8 hours. The result is a pale tan-colored ceramic. The most unique part of the process is the Celadon glazing. The traditional green Celadon glaze is made from a mixture of very fine soft clay, which is taken from the top layer of age-old rice fields, and the ash from the burnt wood of a local nut tree. The white or pale green Celadon glaze uses feldspar, made from a natural stone, and mixed with the same soft rice paddy clay. The ivory color is produced using the same glaze, but a different firing process. The glazes are mixed in machines and then hand stirred to check for consistency. Glazes are applied in a hand-controlled dipping process. Any unevenness in the glaze covering is recovered by hand-painting the glaze onto thinly coated areas. The impressions left by burned-away leaves after the biscuit firing are also hand-painted with glazing. Both reduction and oxidized firing are carried out at high temperatures. The kilns are heated up to 1260 degrees Celsius for 10 to 11 hours. The ivory color is produced using oxidized firing. The oxygen feed pipes and flue are fully opened and the result is termed perfect combustion. The cracking is caused by the difference in the rate of cooling between the clay ceramic and the glaze. This cracking is what produces the familiar Celadon effect. The cracks are minutely thin and unnoticeable to the touch. The final product is a beautiful natural ceramic, which owes much of its present-day popularity to its minimalist styling. By an accident of history, Celadon finds itself fitting perfectly into the modern world without feeling remotely plastic. It looks surprisingly at home in both the most modern Art Deco apartments and in dining rooms furnished mainly with antiques.